Hello, home buyers. This is Irene, Sam's mom, and today I am here with Lori Clark, and she's going to be talking to you about mortgages, and especially for first-time home buyers. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Irene. How are you this morning?
I am doing great. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Hey, Lori, just start off, if you don't mind, by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. As Irene introduced me, my name is Lori Clark, and I am with First Community Mortgage. First Community Mortgage, we are a full-service local lender headquartered in Murfreesboro. We've been here since 2002, serving Middle Tennessee, actually all of Tennessee. I've been in the business over 23 years. And now at First Community Mortgage, we can help home buyers actually in 48 states. So we're doing pretty good.
That is wonderful. And you've been doing this for quite a while. And that's
Yes.
great. I know we go back a long way. So that is great. That always helps, that good experience. So
Yeah.
Lori, it's just a hard time right now for a lot of first-time home buyers. Because not only have the home prices increased, but now there's a double whammy because the interest rates have also gone up.
Right.
So
We're
I'm
seeing that.
finding, oh, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, we are seeing that.
Yes, yes. And I'm finding that renters are paying a lot um, to live in apartments. And I always say, well, you could pay that same amount probably if you owned your own home. What I'm seeing is the money that it takes to get into a home is stopping a lot of people from being able to buy.
Right.
So I kind of want to go from that angle. But first, what are some of the loans that you all have at First Community Mortgage for first-time home buyers?
Well, being a full service lender, we can do everything. We do every loan available. The four basic loans are your FHA loans, your VA loans, your conventional loans, and rural development. And the one specifically here is that we talk to first time home buyers a lot is called THDA, Tennessee Housing Development Agency. It's our state program that assists borrowers several different ways. The one part is if you don't have down payment, they have a program called Great Choice Plus. So THDA is not a loan by itself. We're going to attach it to one of the FHA, VA, conventional, or rural development loans. So, for example, an FHA loan might have a 3.5% down payment assistance. If you have a first-time homebuyer that does not have that, then we can attach THDA, and they have down payment assistance. It is in the form of a second mortgage. So there's two different, it's called Great Choice or Great Choice Plus. And the Great Choice Plus will give a borrower, they have two options. They can get a $6,000 second mortgage to apply toward down payment or closing costs. It is a 0% interest, and it's deferred over the life of the loan. They don't have to pay it back until they sell the home or refinance that mortgage. That's the flat $6,000. The other option that the borrowers have is they can get a 5% of the sales price. So whatever the sales price, 5%. So they're going to take 3.5% of that toward their down payment, and the remainder they can use toward their closing costs. They can get a second mortgage up to $15,000. They pay that back as the second mortgage. It's the same interest rate as the first mortgage, and they pay that back over 30 years. Okay, just like they pay their first mortgage. The current rates on THDA right now are 6.5%. However, they also have a program called Home Ownership for Heroes. So if you are in the medical profession, police, fire, or a veteran,
Teachers?
teacher, I believe teacher as well. So I will double check that. But they will get a a 0.5% better interest rate. So their interest rate would be at 6%. And
Oh,
that's on the THDA program.
okay,
When they do use that second mortgage, they are required to take a first-time homebuyer class.
okay.
Once they take it, it's good for, and it's online. So we send them the link to take the class. And
Mhm.
then there's some local home ownership counselors that we can refer them to as well to get the follow-up for their certificate. It's a very easy process.
Oh.
Mhm.
When you said that the second amount of money, the 5%, so they're paying that back along with the rest of the loan or the first loan?
Correct. So they will be paying 2 mortgages for 30 for their however long they stay in their home. And then if they sell their home, then it would be paying off the first and the second at the same time, whatever the remaining
Okay.
balance is.
Would
Mhm.
would the payment come as one? Does that make sense? Would it come as one payment per month or would it be two?
It would be 2.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. I see. I see. That is, that's a good deal. Um,
Yeah, it is a
both
good
of
deal.
those sound great. They both sound great and they're really helpful. Lori, do you ever see it where with that, probably not so much with the 6,000, but with the second one, that they could get in without any of their own money? Do you ever see that with the second one?
Usually, the way that they try to get in is when we're working with a borrower and we send over the loan analysis, and you as their realtor will look at I send you the numbers as well.
Mhm.
So typically in that case, what's going to happen is that if they have their own down payment, then yes, the 5% would probably cover the remainder of their closing costs. But if they use it for the down payment and then the rest toward closing costs, typically you're going to ask the seller to pay some of the closing costs. And that's how the borrower can get in for basically their earnest money or very little down payment.
Hey, I see. I see. Sounds good. Sounds good
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
that money's keeping a lot of people from trying right now, and so that is
Mhm.
good to know. And I'm going to ask a lot of them to watch your video, Lori.
Good, good, good.
And so that covers the grants because the
It,
first
it,
one
it's
is
a second mortgage. It's not a grant, but that's okay.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
Now the first one, is that also considered a second mortgage?
it
The
is. Yes.
6,000 is considered a second mortgage.
But it is
So
0 interest and it just sits out there till they don't have to pay on it. The 6,000, they don't pay on it. It
oh,
just sits out there.
oh my goodness, that sounds great. That sounds
Right.
absolutely great. Thank you. Now, there are no just grants. So where people just give you money because you're a first time home
No,
buyer.
if you have a
Thank
relative,
you.
maybe they'll give you a gift.
There you go.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just making sure about that. So as a first time home buyer, what paperwork do you need to have ready to go to talk to you?
And there's a couple of different ways we go about the pre-approval process.
Mhm.
So it's pretty streamlined in this digital age, as you're aware, everything has become so digital.
Oh yes.
If they have their driver's license, recent pay stub, recent bank statement, and 2 years W-2s. If they're self-employed, we like to have 2 years tax returns so we can use their self-employed income, of course. Now, once that borrower, if they don't have that information, they can start gathering that. But for the pre-approval process, they have a couple choices. They can do it, I can send them a mobile link. They can do it on their computer, or some people still like to, they can talk to me personally and I can get that information from them. The process for them just to enter an application, I'm going to say 15 minutes maybe. Once they submit the application, I will get a notification. I will go in, I will be able to look at their income, assets that they have put in the computer. Of course, I will have to verify that with the documents that they sent me.
Mhm.
I can then, of course, customize that loan. Are we going to need FHA? Are they looking in a rural area? How much down payment assistance do we need? Do they have any assets? My pre-approval, we can get that done and I can have them a pre-approval letter within about, I'm going to say 30 minutes or so to an hour tops. If I have some questions, I'll reach out to them and we can go through that together. Something that I really recommend that we do at First Community Mortgage, because you and I both know the current market is very competitive.
Yeah.
And we have not just the pre-approval, we have something called the Green Light Plus program. So what I'm going to do is once I get this borrower pre-approved and we know what we're doing, I'm going to gather their documents. I'm actually going to submit that file to our underwriter. And they're going to basically, like if they had a contract and we're moving to closing, they're going to review their income and their assets and their any information of the loan, that we're doing. And they are going to give us a green light approval, not just a pre-approval, but an approval. And with the green light plus that we offer, so once I give them that green light plus approval letter, and when you go to submit that offer, you have a solid approval. All I'm going to need is the appraisal and the title work. And then what's going to happen is our green light approval plus letter that they get actually will guarantee the seller $5,000 from us if we don't close that loan in 21 days. So that makes your offer so strong that they know that borrower's ready to go. We just need the appraisal, title work, homeowner's insurance, and they can close. And so we're backing up their offer for you.
Right. And the seller feels really confident with that, like, oh, this is a sure thing,
Yes.
So that is wonderful. Yes,
Yeah.
it certainly is.
But yeah, they can definitely call you, and we can talk further about that green light approval process. Green light plus is what it's called.
Okay, green light plus.
Green light plus.
Got the green light. Yes,
That's right.
I like it.
Right.
I love it.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and then my next few questions had to do, you kind of answered those because it had to do with the pre-approval process, and that's great. You gave us a very thorough answer on that.
Good.
What are some of the do's and don'ts once I become pre-approved and I'm out looking? What is it that I don't need to do to mess this whole thing up?
Okay. So your pre-approval or your approval is good for 120 days. Unless there's a change in circumstance, meaning you change jobs or you deplete your assets or you go out and buy something, which we're going to talk about, don't doing that. So 100 within that 120 days. Now, if you decide, if that time passes and you haven't found anything, I just need to update credit, income, and everything and make sure our approval letter is still good. So some of the do's and don'ts. Of course, if you have any liabilities, continue to make payments on them and make on-time payments. We don't want to see any late payments popping up during the process. Okay. The biggest don't is don't open any new accounts. Don't go buy a new vehicle. Obviously don't go shopping for furniture before you close, because even if it's one of those, hey, you don't make any payments for 6 months, I still need to know because I'm going to have to know what the balance is and what that payment is. Now, I know that life happens. If there were to be an emergency and you did have to buy a vehicle or something to that effect, just keep in touch with me, your loan officer. Let me know what's going on, and then I can make the adjustment on my end, update your pre-approval accordingly of whatever we need to do. Because those things, if you do buy furniture or a car, they could affect your buying power. Excuse me. So we want to be very careful, while we're shopping for that home. Don't make any new purchases, or if you have to, then just let me know and we'll work with that, whatever we need to do.
Okay. So just kind of keep it in the middle of the road. You already got it. So just kind of keep it just right there in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And always keep in touch with me, keep in touch with your loan officer, because if there's a house that you're interested in, and you and I have worked together in the past, send me the address and I'm going to send you the loan analysis form of that specific house. Okay. I'll pull the tax records so they know what their down payment is. They know what their payment's going to be. There's no shock. Just because you might qualify for $1 million home, you might not be comfortable with that payment, So that's where we're gonna educate that, especially the first time home buyers. I like to educate them so that they know exactly what they're getting into. Because, you know, I don't want you to go into the home and not have an emergency fund. Things happen, you know,
That
you
is so
might need
true.
something. Yeah,
Mhm.
life
That is
happens.
so true. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, indeed. And I just love what you said about educating first-time home buyers so that
Yes,
they understand exactly what's going on at each step. I love
right.
to do that also as a realtor. So
And
thank you for
I
that.
always tell the first time home buyer, it's the biggest purchase for them.
It
And it can
is.
be scary. So
Mhm.
you know, don't be afraid to do the pre-approval. Let's start the pre-approval process and let's know what your credit is. Let's know what your income is. You know, if there's some things we need to work on, we can work on that. You know, we'll work on it together, whether you purchase today, tomorrow, 6 months, or even in the next 12 months. They'll be
Right.
ready. They'll be ready.
Okay. So, Lori, what you just said also, I want to ask you something about that. So, if someone comes to you and you see that, okay, they can't do anything right now because they've got too much debt or whatever, or
Right.
just whatever their situation is. So you'll also guide them to say, if you do A, B, C, then
Yes,
this will help you tremendously.
correct,
Okay.
correct. If it's some debts that we need to pay down a little bit, you know, maybe build up some credit scores. But I will run credit analyzers and help them through that process and tell them, okay, start saving, you know, just
Right.
start saving, you know, just to have a little emergency fund if that's what we need to do.
Right.
So
Okay.
we'll hold their hand through the process.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That sounds great because it can be scary. And like you said, it is the biggest purchase that you
Mhm.
will make. It really is.
Yeah,
And
it
you
is.
might buy later a second home, but the first time there's something about that, it's just kind of scary. It's exciting, but it's
Yeah.
scary at the same time.
I'm sure you're getting the same questions. Is this a good time to buy? Is this a good time to
Yes.
buy? Yes, absolutely. Because if you look at the people that even bought last year or whatever, they've already gained over 20% plus equity in their home.
Right.
And so why build equity for a landlord when you can be building your own equity? It's so
So true.
important. Yeah, yeah.
So true. So true. And I'm glad you said that because another thing they'll say, I'm gonna wait until the prices go down. I'm gonna wait until the interest rate goes down. It's just not,
Mhm.
we can't see all that. You know,
Right, right, right.
how
If we had a
long are you
crystal,
willing to wait? It's how long are you willing to wait? That's the thing. Because we don't even
right,
know if this is gonna happen the way that you think it's gonna happen. So
right. And if you buy now and you have that equity building over the next, you know, 12 months, 24 months, if the rates drop again, they can refinance to that lower rate.
exactly.
And, you know, we're doing a refi plus is if the rates do drop at least a point and it's over in the next 12 months or 6 to 12 months, they will come back to us. They can come back to me and say, Lori, what's the rate? And I've got this equity and I want to do this. We, you know, we can, I think it's called the refi redefine where we're not charging them any of our lender fees or something. But you know, there's definitely an avenue to, if the rates change, they'll be building equity, but then they can be, you know, get the benefit of that lower rate.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Well, Lori, that's all that I have. Is there anything else that you would like to add or anything else that you want to tell us?
I don't think so. I think we've covered pretty much everything you know,
Oh,
this morning. And if you have any questions, we can do, you know, more video Zoom calls for them and they can call
okay.
me personally with any questions, even if it's, you know, if they're not ready today and they just have some questions, I'll be happy to answer them for them.
Fantastic. And how do they get in touch with you?
They can call me directly at 615-481-0095, or they can email me at lori.clark@fcmhomeloans.com.
Fantastic. And if they forget or if they can't write this down, then they can always ask me because I have your information and
They
we
can
work
call you and you
together.
know where to find me.
There you go. It's always a pleasure to work with you, Lori.
I know.
And I
Same, I
just
agree. Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for doing
Well,
the call today.
You're welcome. Have a great week.
Okay, and we will talk soon, okay?
All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.